Are wolves dangerous to humans? The perception of wolves as a danger to people has a long history in human society. In reality, the risk of wolves attacking or killing people is low. Wolves typically avoid people in buildings and roads, and encounters are rare. For example, a study published in 2002 revealed wolf-human interactions in Alaska and Canada, where over 60,000 wolves live between 1,900 to 2,000, a 100-year period. The study found only 16 cases where wild, healthy wolves bit people. In 6 cases, bites were severe. No bites were life-threatening. Another 12 cases involved aggression by known or suspected rabid wolves in North America. Some of you may be surprised to know that there are no documented accounts of humans killed by wild wolves between 1,900 to 2,000 worldwide. In those rare cases where wolves have attacked or killed people, most attacks have been by rabid wolves. Wolves are unlikely to be a long-term reservoir host for rabies, but they can catch it from other species. Most incidents of rabies occur in other wildlife such as raccoons, skunks, foxes, and bats. A decrease in the incidence of rabies worldwide has led to the decrease in the number of rabid wolf attacks. Another factor associated with wolf attacks is habituation, losing fear of humans. Habituation can occur when wolves are fed by people. Wolf attacks have also occurred when wolves are provoked, such as when humans trapped or cornered them or entered a den with pups. Attacks are also associated with highly modified environments, for example, where there is little to no natural prey and when wolves are dependent on human food sources. There also have been recent reports of wolves attacking people. Wolves may have killed a Canadian man in 2005. Wolves have killed a woman jogging alone in a remote part of Alaska in 2010. In summer of 2019, a wolf killed a tent camper in Banff National Park. Such encounters foster the perception that wolves are far more dangerous to humans than they are. Despite this, attacks are still exceedingly rare. For example, no wolf has attacked a human in Yellowstone National Park. Since wolves returned in 1995, Yellowstone receives 4 million visitors per year, including tent campers. About 100 wolves live in Yellowstone and are exposed to people, with few issues. Overall, wolves represent little threat to humans, like many large carnivores, unless people habituate them by providing them with food. As with other wildlife, including other carnivores, such as bears, it is best not to feed wolves and to keep them at a respectful distance. Which brings me to the question, are wolves dangerous to pets? Are wolves dangerous to pets? Wolves may kill pets if they encounter them, as can other large carnivores such as mountain lions and coyotes. The most common conflicts between wolves and pets involve domestic dogs. Wolves are likely most aggressive near their den or rendezvous sites when protecting recent kills. Wolves killing dogs, however, is infrequent. Typically, most dogs killed by wolves are hunting dogs in pursuit of wildlife, such as bears, mountain lions, and wolves themselves. In some areas, the risk of wolf attacks on dogs is a source of conflict between wolves and hunters, and can be an important motivation for the illegal killing of wolves. Wolves typically avoid residential areas and are thus less of a threat to dogs there. There are ways to reduce the chance of conflict between wolves and dogs. Wolves are generally afraid of people and will avoid them, so staying as close to dogs as possible will make it less likely that wolves will attack dogs. Hunting with dogs is inherently risky in wolf country. Avoidance of wolves is the best way to minimize conflict. If you hunt with dogs in wolf country, learn to recognize wolf signs such as scat, tracks, and howls. If you see or hear signs, don't turn your dogs loose. Bells or beepers on dogs might also protect dogs. For hikers in wolf country, dogs should be leashed or under strict voice control. This will not only protect the dogs, but also protect the wildlife that dogs might chase, disturb, or even kill. Behavior. Wolves are social animals which live in a family, group, or pack. The number of wolves in a pack can be highly variable, but typically packs have 6 to 10 members. This pack consists of an alpha male and an alpha female, which is known as a breeding pair, along with pups from the previous year and the current year's pups. Other subordinate adults may join the pack occasionally. The breeding pair is in charge of the pack, raising the young, selecting denning and rendezvous locations, and maintaining the territory. A wolf pack's territory can range from 20 to 120 square miles. The size of the territory is determined by prey densities. In low prey density areas, such as northwestern Canada, territories can reach hundreds of square miles. Wolf territories may share a common border, but seldom overlap by more than a mile. A wolf that trespasses in another pack's territory runs the risks of being killed by that pack. Territories are clearly marked by scent messages, otherwise known as urine and feces, left by that pack. Howling helps define territories as well as identify and reunite wolves scattered over their territory. Historically, wolves once occupied every habitat that had sufficient prey in North America, from mid-Mexico to polar ice pack. Wolves that leave their natural pack to find new territory are referred to as dispersers. Dispersal is the primary way wolves colonize new areas and maintain genetic diversity. Dispersers may travel hundreds of miles to find and establish a new territory. Wolves have been known to disperse up to 550 miles, but more commonly disperse 50 to 100 miles from their natural pack. Generally, wolves disperse when 1 to 2 years old, as they reach maturity, although some adults disperse also. Dispersers usually leave the pack in autumn or winter. At any time, 5 to 20% of the wolf population may be dispersing. Usually, a wolf disperses to find another wolf of the opposite gender, find a territory, and start a new pack. Some dispersers join packs that are already formed. It is not clear as to why some wolves disperse and others don't. Some wolves stay in their natural pack and work their way up the dominance hierarchy. Communication. Gray wolves have a variety of visual and auditory means of communicating. Vocalizations include growls, barks, and howls. Different wolves have different howls that can be heard by other wolves at distances of 6 to 7 miles, which is 10 to 11 kilometers. Howling functions as a way to keep the pack back together and to stimulate a hunt and as a long-distance form of territorial expression. Howling can also return a lost wolf to its pack. A lonesome howl is a shortened call that rises in pitch used by a wolf that is separated from its pack. If answered, the wolf switches to deep, even howls to inform the pack of its location and help it to be found. Howling increases through breeding season, which is January through April. Scent making via scratching, defecation, and urination are all means of maintaining pack territories. Body language is a tool of communication for the wolf, just as human postures and gestures express our intentions and feelings. The wolf also uses body language to communicate. Dominant postures may include walking with the head held high and eyes directed straight towards other wolves. Dominant wolves, however, may show raised hackles and may also sideswipe or slam into subordinate members of the pack. They may also growl, show bared teeth and a wrinkled forehead, and their ears may stand and pointed forward. They are usually first to eat at a kill. A dominant wolf may ride up on a subordinate wolf by placing its head or forelegs across that animal's shoulders. Subordinate postures include lowered tails, a lowered body position, an exposed throat, small steps toward more dominant members, a peeling back of lips, ears folded back, and can include urination while crouching or urination on themselves. They may also raise a hind leg to expose the groin area. Food or eating habits. High speeds help wolves catch up to their prey, while a wolf's sharp teeth and claws finish the job. The gray wolf is a keystone predator and is integral to the ecosystem in which it is found. Gray wolves hunt cooperatively in packs and are able to take down a prey much larger than they are, including caribou, moose, deer, and bison. Wolves will also occasionally kill smaller prey such as beaver, rabbit, and fish, and will sometimes eat berries. Gray wolves eat around 3 to 4 pounds of food every single day. At the Smithsonian's National Zoo, the wolves are fed a mixture of dry canine kibble, meat, and fish and bones, and frozen prey, which is mostly rabbits and also some vegetables. Identification. It can be difficult to distinguish between a gray wolf, also referred to as a timber wolf, and a coyote, especially at a distance. Generally, wolves are larger and bulkier with long legs, while coyotes tend to be sleeker, shorter, and light on their feet. Wolves measure 5 to 6 feet and weigh 50 to 100 pounds, while in contrast, coyotes are 3 to 4 feet and weigh 25 to 45 pounds. Wolves also have round furry ears, whereas coyotes' ears tend to be more pointed. Wolf tracks are usually 3.5 inches or larger, not including claws, and generally use a direct registration when they walk, meaning the hind foot steps in line with the front foot. Wolves generally travel by walking or trotting in a fairly straight line, and dogs tend to zigzag or follow a random path. Wolves howl in long, low tones, and to hear a wolf howl in the wild can be a thrilling experience. Coyote howls are generally mixed with yelps, and barks, and are higher pitched. Lifespan. In the wild, gray wolves can live between 7 and 8 years, and up to 20 years in human care. Native habitat. Historically, aside from humans, gray wolves had the greatest natural range of living terrestrial mammals. More recently, their distribution has been restricted to the open tundra and forests of North America, primarily in Alaska, Canada, and the northern United States. Gray wolves are highly adaptable and have been known to survive in all habitats in the northern hemisphere, except for tropical forests. Gray wolves maintain a stable population growth in these areas, regardless of varying densities. Physical description. Depending on habitat location, the coloration of gray wolves can range from white to black, with the majority exhibiting light brown or gray coloration. The coloration provides camouflage while hunting. Being hidden is helpful when packs of wolves hunt at night to catch a prey as a team or lead prey into the remaining members of the pack as a trap. Reproduction and development. In a pack, typically, only the dominant pair mate. Mating may occur anytime from January to April, with births taking place in spring. Courtship can last for days or months, with estrus lasting 5 to 15 days. The gestation period is 62 or 63 days, with an average litter of 6 pups. At birth, wolf pups weigh about 16 ounces, which is about 450 grams, and are blind and deaf. After 11 to 15 days, their eyes open. They emerge from the den when they are 3 weeks old. Dens may be in rock crevices, hollow logs, or overturned stumps, but are usually in a burrow, either dug out by the parents themselves or initially made by another animal and then enlarged by the wolves. These tunnels or maternity dens are one of the only ways wolves will seek shelter, and the same den may be used repeatedly for years to come. Depending on a variety of factors, a young wolf may stay with its parental pack or very possibly go out on its own. As a young wolf reaches the age of maturity around 2 years old, it may actively explore the fringes of its parental territory prior to leaving. Once a young wolf has left the pack, it will either join another lone wolf in order to search for new territory, or it will establish itself in an area and wait for an animal of the opposite gender to arrive. Entering breeding age from around 3 years old, a lone wolf may form a new pack with a member of the opposite gender. Size: the largest members of the canine family, male wolves. Males weigh between 65 and 175 pounds, which is 30 to 80 kilograms, and females weigh between 50 and 120 pounds, which is 23 to 55 kilograms. They measure from 4 feet and 3 inches to 6 feet and 9 inches, which is 130 to 205 centimeters in total length. Social structure: the gray wolf is among the most social of carnivores. Wolf packs typically have 5 to 8 wolves, but packs with as many as 36 wolves have also been reported. The pack is essentially a family group consisting of an adult pair called the dominant pair and their offspring. The dominant pair usually initiates activity, guides movement, and takes control at critical times, such as during a hunt. Essentially, the mother and the father are teaching the rest of the pack how to hunt and, if necessary, how to survive and how to avoid threats and mark territories. Wolf myths explained. Are wolves dangerous to people? False. Wolves generally are shy and afraid of people. Wolves can be dangerous to people if they become habituated to them. Over the last 100 years, only 2 people have died from attacks from wild, healthy wolves in North America. During the same time, there were over 50 cases of black bears killing people, and annually, dogs kill 30 people and cows kill about 22 people. Avoid feeding wolves, especially near human dwellings. Dog food left outside or leftover meal can be food for wolves and other predators. If you see a bold acting wolf, stop, shout, wave your arms, throw things, remove yourself slowly by slowly backing away from the area. Never run from wolves or other large predators. Report to DNR any wolves that show bold behavior and are hanging out near people. Wolves were reintroduced by people to Wisconsin and Michigan. This is false. Wolves' population grew in Minnesota and started to colonize into Wisconsin and spread into Michigan. There was one attempt in 1974 to reintroduce 4 wolves from Minnesota into Michigan. Within 8 months, those wolves perished and did not reproduce. Wolves moved from Minnesota into Wisconsin on their own in the mid-1970s, and wolves from both states moved into Michigan in the late 1980s. Some wolves were moved from farms where they were causing depredations to national forests lands between 1991 to 2002, but no wolves were brought in from other states. Wolves will devastate the deer herd. This is massively false. The deer herd in Wisconsin and Michigan is very large. Wolves approximately eat 15 to 19 deer. According to the DNRs, approximately 300,000 deer to 600,000 deer are hunted each year in each state. This is 50 times more than what wolves eat. 1,000 wolves in Wisconsin consume about 20,000 deer. These numbers also don't include the number of deer killed by traffic. The most important factor controlling the deer population in northern Wisconsin and upper Michigan are winter weather and public harvest. Even in the northern forest and central forest, where most wolves live in Wisconsin, the 2020 deer harvest included over 38,000 bucks and total harvest of nearly 65,000 deer. Thus, even with the record wolf numbers, reasonable harvest of deer continue to occur within the wolf range. Wolves are a major threat to the livestock industry. This is false. While a few farms suffer depredations by wolves and some individual farms receive high damage, overall wolf depredation's impact is negligible to the livestock industry. In 2019, there was 34 confirmed injured and killed cattle depredations in Wisconsin, and 24 farms suffered depredation to livestock in the state. The highest number was in 2011 with 71 cattle depredations, with fully integrated management possible when wolves were delisted in 2012 to 2014. Wisconsin DNR and its partner USDA Wildlife Service were able to drastically reduce wolf depredations in the state. Thus, the impact on the overall livestock industry is fairly minor. However, we do understand that farms do deal with other issues when cattle are stressed by wolves, and reasonable policies and assistance need to be made available to help these farmers. It is not safe to walk dogs in areas occupied by wolves. This is mostly false, except for hounds used for hunting and training on bears and other predators. Dog depredations are talked a lot about in the news. A majority of dogs killed by wolves in Wisconsin were hounds used in hunting and training on bears, as well as some used on coyotes, bobcats, and raccoons. Through 2020, only 2 cases of injuries and 1 death have been reported for dogs in bird hunting situations in Wisconsin. It is important to have control on dogs and prevent them from wandering out of sight. Dogs roaming at long distances from their owners are at some risk of wolf attack, especially during wolf denning season in the spring and summer. Wolf use rendezvous sites. It is important to keep dogs away from areas where there may be wolf dens or rendezvous sites. However, if you are walking on well-marked and commonly used trails with your dogs within that site, there is less chances for issues occurring. Dogs that can't be adequately controlled by commands walking in wild areas should be on leash, especially during the wolf denning and rendezvous period, as well as to protect the eggs and young of the ground and shrub nesting birds. Wolves and humans. A critical aspect to long-term conservation of wolves are the relationship of wolves to humans. Human dimensions is becoming an important part of the proper management of all wildlife. Ultimately, human tolerance of wolves will determine where wolves can live on the landscape, especially in highly modified landscapes, as we have in the Great Lakes region. Learning to live with wolves also means we have to learn how people relate to wolves, to counter myths, alleviate fears, eliminate prejudice, and encounter tolerance. We need to better understand how people feel about wolves.